He's an astrologer and the founder of Queer Cosmos, who's always a joy to chat with. Today, Colin Bedell is answering some of our most asked questions, like why we might not relate to our sun signs, and is dating compatibility linked to astrology? We're chatting with him about that and more. This is Advocate Now. Sometimes we hear from people who say they don't really relate to one or more of their signs. Why do you think that could be?
Well, there's a lot of ways that we can interpret that. I think, number one, I'll take responsibility for astrologers. I think we could always stand to describe these zodiac signs more so with progressive ideas and also a quality of like, who are these archetypes on being, not just doing and having. I think if we did a better job explaining the being that these zodiac signs are, then I think people might actually represent or connect and resonate to their assessments a little bit more. And then I just had a reading earlier where I was talking about how I have noticed when people have lived through significant BT, capital T traumas, they don't often express the best of their astrology. And so from a trauma-informed perspective, based on some violation or neglect, they have not had the space, the permission, and the skill building to express their astrology.
That's fascinating. So it's almost like your astrology is you in your purest form, but then other factors influence it, life experiences, trauma, as you're
100%.
saying.
Environmental, family systems. Yeah, there was a client telling me that she's in a relationship with somebody who struggles to tell the truth and have boundaries. And this person's astrology ought to be able to do that in their sleep. So either astrology is hogwash, right? Or when they, which I don't think any of us here believe, or when they were telling me about this person's backstory, like they left a Mormon cult. So no wonder, you know? And so I was like, well, there we go. Now that we know what happened to them, let's explain how their astrology wants them to be and how they want to act in the space of this deprogramming. So I don't know if that answers your question, but
no, it definitely does. It's such an interesting perspective. And, you know, some people focus heavily on dating compatibility. You know, when it comes to our maybe primarily sun signs, is dating compatibility almost set in stone, or is it really dependent on various factors in your chart?
Great question. So I don't think astrology says yes or no, you're compatible. It says how so. That's something else I learned from my mentor. So it's not yes or no, but how so. Because Esther Perel, one of the world's leading couples therapists, says that every relationship is a story. So write well and edit often. And when I'm doing a compatibility assessment, I'm going to tell the story of that relationship and then sort of see where the couple lands within that storytelling and discuss particular things that they can do to edit. Usually, too, it's around expectations and entitlements. But that'll be a whole nother three-part series that we're going to do.
We have so much to talk about.
Oh, of course. The two Geminis, forget it. We will literally be here for a decade and never run out of things to say and never stop having fun, because that's what I love about our sign. We just constantly laugh our way through intellectual conversation.
I agree. I think Geminis are the best. We get a bad rap for really no valid reason. But
because I think it just like became funny on the internet. So
yeah,
like,
that's true.
it just
That's
like
true.
kind of have it as like just aberration, like what? But no, I just allow it at this point. I'm just like, well, our sign's still coming out of your mouth, so I don't know who you are.
That's right. You're still talking about us, aren't you?
Clout is good clout, okay?
I love it. Well, as we start to understand our charts and we maybe move more into alignment, what are some things that we might notice about our lives? You know, certain signs or synchronicities.
Ooh, what a question.
That we're on the right track.
You need a raise. You're so good. Right, hair flip. So what I would actually say is it's going to get harder before it gets better. And you know what? I'm so glad you gave me the chance to say this. It becomes initially very lonely, very fast.
Oh, don't I know it?
Oh, really? Yeah, because I think there's something to be said about when we start becoming who we want to be rather than pretending, performing, people pleasing, and perfecting. Our relationships go through a really difficult transitionary period.
Yes.
And so what happens is how we taught other people how to treat us is no longer the way we want to teach them how to treat us. And so it starts to get really lonely. Though I think that's the cost of admission for this work. And then once we realize, okay, this is what I need to normalize, this is what I need to challenge, then our frequency becomes a little bit more finely tuned to people who reinforce the quality of aliveness and relationality that we deserve. So yeah, it's a little uncomfortable, but then you're going to say, I am so glad I just ripped the Band-Aid off and did that.
Absolutely.
Yes?
It gets so good that you get to the point and you say, how did I ever live this life? That was not aligned with me at all.
At all. And we give grace and compassion to wherever other people are at in the road, but we realize, you know what, no longer me, and I'm going to start doing this instead. But then I have never seen the universe not reward people relationally, because the universe is so relational, but it just really does give us that initial kind of space of solitude, of undisturbed development, because other people can tell us to be who we aren't. And so we have to go through this dark night of the soul, this challenging space of solitude and reflection, so that we can ultimately define and declare who we are more astrologically and accurately.
Yeah. And that's a matter of combining astrology with just your own personal energy and self-worth, because then you're raising your level of self-worth. You're emitting this really powerful energy, and then you're just attracting all good things. Right?
Yes. And I love that you made that secular and spiritual, right? You were like, self-worth, this is how we do it. And then the energy and the attraction. Yeah, that's so Gemini, by the way, right? Like fluid in the metaphysics and the physics of it. But yes, things just happen very differently when we claim worthiness as our birthright, which is one of the most powerful antidotes to shame, because shame says you're fundamentally unworthy. But then once we have strong self-worth, we say, that's not true. Yes, I am. And here's why. And then other people feel that. And then people who also are strong in self-worth tend to be drawn to you. It's the way it works. It's almost remarkable, really, how much agency we have that we don't even realize we have.
And to that point, people do get lost in this sort of scarcity mindset that's ingrained in us from a young age.
Yes.
Astrology can really help you shift into an abundance mindset. But why do you think some people are afraid to tap into that and to begin that healing journey?
Well, because I think, to quote Marianne Williamson, it's not our darkness that most frightens us, it's our light. I think people are terrified to realize how capable, how creative, how generatively powerful they can really be. And I do have a lot of empathy and compassion for that, right? And I think it's just fear. It's a lot of fear. And then astrology says, okay, we're going to hold space for that, but I'm not going to cater to it, right? And so what can we do instead to stop being afraid of our own joy, to stop being afraid of love, to stop being afraid of it going well? Like, of course, there's no guarantees. And if you want to play, you got to pay. There's going to be heartbreak across the road, but I would rather you have your heart broken as a symbol of courage, because you had the audacity to say, I love you first. Right? And so how can astrologers be a resource and coach and skill build people to stop around when it comes to being so afraid of being all in? I don't know.
Colin, you are absolutely incredible. I could see you for days. Everybody has to check out Queer Cosmos, check out Colin's work. Thank you so much for all of your amazing insights and for spending some time with us today.
Oh, thank you, Gemini Sonia, for coming with the questions, the energy, the looks. Okay, I was all for it, baby.
I love it. Thank you.
Bye.
I'm Sonia Baghdady. Thanks for watching and advocating. For more stories and content like this, visit advocate.com and advocatechannel.com. The Advocate Channel is here to be a voice for underserved and underrepresented LGBTQ+ and BIPOC communities. Join the conversation. Subscribe on YouTube and Facebook. Download our Roku and Fire TV app. Take us with you. Get the Advocate Channel app on your Apple or Android device. Thanks for watching. I'm Sonia Baghdady. There's more Advocate Channel after the break.